MV3 Traders Futures Trade Radio is brought to you by The Ultimate Trader's Guide, your one-stop shop for the most valuable income-producing information on the internet. Go to ultimatetradersguide.net to learn more. Link in the description below. Hope everybody had a good weekend. Should have an interesting week ahead of us. We got earnings, we got FOMC, a lot of stuff on the economic calendar. So it should be pretty interesting this week. Had a little bit of sell-off overnight. Started at the beginning of the session, so now we're starting to see some retracement. Last point of supply was at 1290 area. Did pick up some quick supply right here before 12. Was that 12,110? Looking at inventory, nice inventory response there off of 1296 off of automation. This week should be interesting. On today, we don't have anything on the calendar. Today should just be mostly earnings stuff. Let's see, what's that? 1290. Nice supply response there. We kind of dropped supply to 104. Searching for cheaper inventory. position currently. Focus mostly on this position. We are in this markdown phase. Catching some inventory off of 12,100 or 1290. Looks like it wants to become seasoned, but we are getting a supply response off of automation. We go searching for cheaper inventory. Took us back below some MSRP. We're picking up some inventory at 1272. And supply response off that got some MSRP there around 1280. We're kind of being mechanical this morning to some indicators. Continuing to drop the inventory. This is kind of retesting our daily 200. I think we got a few more points before we actually touch the 200. 200 simple moving average. That is. So we got another drop of the supply at 1270. Currently holding inventory at 1260. Kind of delayed reaction there with my thing. With my stream deck. It's not even really the stream deck, the little trade copy system that I got working, the murky. Coming back into automation, kind of stalling at automation, doing in this little negotiation phase. Back inside of automation. A little bit of a whipsaw going on. And it gave us a nice little wedge there on the 3-minute. Kind of look at that as a look below and fail from the last little period leading up into RTH. We had this nice little range that was created in the pre-market hours. So we looked below that just now and came back inside of that range. However, still had a session low below us. Finding little pockets to budget.
Yeah.
Testing automation. Getting a quick inventory response off of automation. There's an inventory response right at 1270. Coming back into the beginning, and it's kind of just budgeting right here around automation between 1270 and 1285. So it's kind of challenging to actually point out actual supply and inventory areas. But right now, supply would be at 1285. Inventory off of 1270. Another inventory supply response at the 1285 area. Temporary setting up the shop here. So another inventory response. Should see some follow through here. And unless they want to squeeze, get some more loans trapped. All right, starting to see a little bit of follow through. It looks like we could possibly have picked a direction. For now anyway, they can, always flip it back in the other way. Kind of watching that 1294 area to see if we have another mechanical response there. Front running the VWAP at 1210 or 110, 12110. Just picked up some inventory around 1295. Let's see if we can get a nice little bull run. Coming to this area where we had this overnight session gap, or this. See, the last time we were in this area was like during the London session, but we don't have a ton of volume up here, so we're just burning right through this gap here, this volume gap, before we get a slight break around 1235-ish, front running that area. Got VWAP and automation hanging out at 12110. Automation kind of lifted above VWAP there. for that last little dip. Picked up some more inventory off of 12-110. Picking up some more inventory. We're kind of inside of our automation. We're negotiating inside of this automation zone. Be nice for us to catch the elevator out of this area. Do a time check on our halftime. We got about 8 minutes. Okay, so we made our way, got another touch of the supply area at 130. Still staying inside of the shop. We haven't decided to leave the shop yet. Typically off those VWAP plays, you don't want to see price hang around VWAP too long. But price usually doesn't hang around VWAP too long. They usually do their business at VWAP and then keep it moving. They're trying to make points off those VWAPs. They're not really trying to play the actual VWAP. This is why I have it on my charts, because institutions look at it, or they use it, but they use it and as a way to serve their customers. So we're coming back to it. We got automation right here above it. There's a dip below. Had a little bit of a lag there with my trigger. Not cool. Probably be my last position here. I could actually see them bringing this back the other way. Here we go back to VWAP. Let's see if we get a supply response at VWAP. We did not. We kept it moving. Had to eat a red day for the day, but it's all good. Had a good week last week. Can't expect to win them all. And if I was able to, if I didn't have, I did take a lesson from this morning's session where I'm gonna change some things up for these live stream days because I can't keep going. My window is much shorter, so I gotta have like a perfect. It has to trade perfectly within the first 30 minutes, which we definitely don't always get. So I'm gonna have to make an adjustment to the days where I do the live streams. Off that little dip right there, we should actually, it would be reasonable to expect to start seeing some higher prices, or maybe we could just hold this range. Got a last little quick inventory pickup around 105. Like we're looking at a slight micro markup phase, kind of taking the steps. And really, we're taking the ladder back into our main supply area. So coming back down to drop the inventory once again back inside of the zone, back inside of the range. Got another inventory response there for 105. And it's time for halftime. Let's take a quick break and we'll be right back. MV3 Traders Futures Trade Radio is brought to you by the Ultimate Trader's Guide, your one-stop shop for the most valuable income-producing information on the internet. Go to ultimatetradersguide.net to learn more. Link in the description below. All right, welcome back to the second half of Futures Trade Radio for another episode of Trader Triggers. I got a question for you. Does your trading business have an SOP? What's an SOP, you ask? So what I'm referring to here is a standard operating procedure or standard operating procedures. Maybe you've already heard of this if you work in a corporate environment. You have a job where they have SOPs, or maybe you run your own business and you heard of this because you understand the importance of documentation. Well, standard operating procedures are a common yet powerful tool utilized in every successful organization, from our militaries to the government to private corporations and everything in between. Standard operating procedures are extremely important for the overall success of a corporation or an entity. So let's kind of dig deeper into what a standard operating procedure is, or an SOP. So here's the technical definition. A standard operating procedure is a set of instructions that outlines how to perform a specific task or activity in a consistent and safe manner. I'm most familiar with SOPs from my time in the military, where we used them to establish uniformity, which was the top of our priorities, and they helped us with consistency for performing tasks and activities that were vital to the success of the mission. Basically, these SOPs define step-by-step everything that's required to complete tasks and activities so that anyone with a basic core understanding of the situation can get the job done. These SOPs were simple, they were straight to the point, easy to understand, with minimal jargon and minimal complexity beyond what was required to complete the job at hand. SOPs make sure that task gets completed to standard every single time while mitigating as much risk as possible. It's also important to understand that you can add to them, but you can't take anything away unless absolutely necessary, which requires careful consideration through a clearly defined process, which is also usually done so through an SOP. So where am I going with all this SOP talk? We can take the same concept into our trading so that we always come to our stations when we're ready to trade. We always show up putting our best foot forward. By having a consistent documented approach, that's helped me to make drastic improvements since I began day trading in 2017. Had it not been for my trading SOP that I integrated, inside of my journal, the one that I share on mv3trader.com, I would have struggled with consistency, discipline, focus, and making, mistakes. I probably still would have been struggling with those things to this day. Which is why I highly recommend to all traders to have a trading SOP of your own, regardless of how or what you're trading. Most people refer to this, you hear this mostly as your trading plan, but just saying trading plan is kind of vague. Like, you can plan to take a trip. Let's say I want to take a trip to Spain, but what's going to be involved? Like, what specifically is involved in me getting from where I am now to where I plan to go in the future. A standard operating procedure clearly defines all the steps involved in fulfilling the plan. It's a little bit of word geeking there, but I think you get the point. So let's talk about some benefits that I've seen from having a trading SOP. One of the key benefits is it has helped me to significantly mitigate risk. By putting, reminders inside of your SOP to keep you on track of what you need to look out for when spotting opportunities and making trading decisions, it helps you make less mistakes in the moment. Many times mistakes come from, oversight of a lesson that you've learned from previous sessions, or maybe you was taught a lesson or was giving helpful advice from a coach or mentor. If you don't have like something that you can consistently refer to as reminders to those lessons and what you should be focusing on as you step into your trading session or your trading day, you can make yourself vulnerable to making mistakes in the moment that can be costly to your trading business. Having these daily reminders removes or positively addresses anxiety and fear of unknowns. For example, I have a reminder to keep an eye out for an indicator that I have on my charts that helps me to determine when to be aggressive versus when to be less patient with my positions. Of course, this came from, a lot of experience and a lot of back testing over time. I was able to identify how I could use this indicator to my benefit, right? It's just an indicator. It doesn't do anything in and of itself. It's how I use it that's important. But recording or keeping reminders in my SOP of how valuable my perspective of this indicator is helps me in the moment to not make mistakes. And let's say get really aggressive when I'm supposed to be patient based off of how I perceive the indicator or price's relation to the indicator. With you being less anxious while you're trading, you're less likely to panic when the market is going through its daily cycles of volatility spikes, or guess when the picture is not so clear. And on that note, one thing I would recommend everyone have in their trading SOP is that the market will be open another day. A lot of times we get caught into the moment and get caught into things like FOMO, as if like you're not going to have more opportunities. There will always be more opportunities in the future. And like I always say, if the market stops giving opportunities and let's say everything goes to zero, the reason why we here wouldn't matter it wouldn't matter anymore anyway. The thing that you're afraid of losing, it won't matter anymore anyway. So I recommend that in your trading SOP or somewhere, even if you don't want to use a trade SOP, make sure that you have some sort of reminder that there will be more opportunities because the market will open another day. So with this, your trading SOP will also help you develop consistency and discipline. Every little consistent action you take will bleed over into your trading. The more you can be consistent outside of trading, like actually hitting buy and sell and executing in the moment, the more you can stay consistent in areas outside of placing trades, that'll bleed over to how consistent you are with executing your strategy and being efficient with your trading business. And being disciplined to making sure that you don't skip your pre-trade tasks before placing a trade every single day. Right, being disciplined to sticking to your trading SOP, that's also going to help you develop as a trader to where you're not making as many mistakes. So we can see how a trading SOP as something that you got to review every single day before, or every single time before you start taking trades. Doing so can help you build consistency and become more disciplined. For example, in my trading plan, I have a checklist that I go through, and I got to make sure that I check off everything before I place a single trade. Now, as part of your reminders, it helps to also include some details of your strategy, broken down into as much detail as possible. For example, what do you look for to initiate a position? What are you generally looking for to take profit? What needs to be set within your trading platform to make sure that every trade that you take is executed correctly when you pull the trigger? For this SOP, you don't necessarily need to write out the entire strategy, although it does help to write this out in full detail in a separate document. But what you may want here is just some key points of your strategy to make sure you stay focused and are not getting emotionally triggered by tricky movements of the market. So aside from, the key points of your strategy, what else? What are some other things that you may want to consider putting in your trading SOP? Honestly, you can put whatever you want, whatever's going to help you be the best that you can be inside of your SOP. So whatever you can think of that's going to help you show up and focus and be consistent and all the things, right? All of that can go inside of your trading SOP. So when you're coming up with your trading SOP, if you don't already have one, you want to put on your business hat here. Like if you're, let's say if your trading was a brick and mortar store and you had an employee that was responsible for placing trades, what would you want them to do or be aware of every day that they do their job? Some ideas that come to mind are you can have a pre-trade, your during the trades, while you're trading, and your post-trade checklist. You can have a log or a journal. You can have in your SOP rules for trading, as simple or as complex as you want, as you think they need to be. One key thing that I would highly recommend to have is your mission statement. And by the mission statement, I mean, why are you trading? And what are your goals with trading? So what I do is I have like some goals that I have, or some focuses that I have for why I'm even trading in the first place. I have that written on a whiteboard that I got to read every day. And in my trading SOP, I have a reminder to read the whiteboard. So I'm carrying that energy into my trading session, right? So in your trading SOP, you may also want to have your hours of operation. Like, when do you plan to begin trading and when do you plan to cut trading off for the day? You also want to have some key details of your risk assessment or risk management plan. And it also has helped me a lot to have trader development information. So what do I mean by this? So like, for example, every day I take screenshots of the trades that I took and, my trading session, everything I observed. And also I record all of my trading sessions so that I have film, or game film as I call it, that I can go back and review these things throughout the day or at a later time, so that I can start to build that consistency with how I'm reading these charts in the moment. And I'm developing my familiarity with this environment as I continue to progress and grow as a trader. Right? I use my recorded sessions the same way a pro athlete would go back and watch game film to help them improve and prepare for the next game. And one last thing that I want to mention about these SOPs is that can help you with communicating with others. For example, if you have a trading group or a partner that you share ideas with, the details in your SOP can help you clearly recall what you experienced in the past so that you can communicate effectively with the other people that you're sharing ideas with. Or let's say if you are seeking mentorship and you're looking for a mentor or a coach, you having everything documented with your SOP will give you something to point back to, which you can provide to your coach or mentor that will allow them to help you as efficiently as possible. Or if you get to the point to where you want to teach trading to others, you already are ahead of the game when you're ready to put your course together or put your system together by having things documented and having processes already in place that you can share with your students and help them to learn how to participate in this environment. Right? So, like I stated in the beginning of this episode, these SOPs are simple. They don't have to be super complicated or fancy. Again, you can go to my journal where I have just the checklist, which basically the first part of that journal is basically my trading SOP with a checklist of things that I have to go through every single day before I take a single trade. Before I take the first trade, I got to go through and check off everything, with the exception of course, the COB or close of business stuff, which is my post-trading checklist. But I have a series of things that I got to go through every day and check off. So if you need an example of what a trading SOP could look like and how simple it could be, you can go over to nv3trader.com/journal. Or if you just go to nv3trader.com, there's a big red button at the top of the page where you can click on my journal. You can see my journal and you can see the how I have my trading SOP. Right? It's simply just a list of reminders and steps that I must perform before trading, things to keep in mind while I'm trading, right? For myself, like things to keep in awareness to myself, in addition to what I'm analyzing on the charts. And any task that needs to be completed before I start trading, i.e. opening up all my charts and taking them out of sim mode. And tasks that needs to be completed at the end of every session, like taking screenshots and making sure I save my trading, my recorded sessions. Right? So with this SOP, this is a working document. Right? It's constantly, well, it's not constantly changing, but it does have moments where it changes. It's not something that you got to set and you got to stick to it forever. When you see that your trading SOP needs to be updated or there's a change that needs to be made, make the change. But you want to do so after you've carefully considered how valuable this change could be. Are the things that on your trading SOP right now, are they really serving you the way that they need to be serving you? So you want to take careful consideration to everything that you put inside of however you develop your trading SOP. And then do the same thing for any additions or adjustments that you need to make. And then you want to monitor this and reassess how your SOP is serving you as you use it consistently over time. As you grow and gain more experience, you'll find that something may be missing, or a step may need to be removed because it's no longer serving your needs, or maybe you've mastered it and it's time to progress to the next level. So you may remove a step that you've already progressed beyond, and then maybe even replace it with something else. And if this is a new concept to you, maybe this sounds like something that's complicated or foreign to you, but you'll be able to identify what needs to be added, adjusted, or removed the more that you use your trading SOP. It'll become something that's a part of you. So with all that being said, I hope you have a great rest of your day. Make sure you tap the like button if you found this helpful, and comment with whatever was triggered for you. I appreciate all the comments, and no matter what you may be thinking, go ahead and leave that in the comment section. I try to reply to all of them. Sometimes I'm not that quick to replying to them, but I try to get to them. But until the next time, until the next Trader Triggers, trade it easy.